comments start being made, I start being shouted at on the street the N-word, and I'm like, okay. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Cami and I make videos on here, obviously. First of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. I ripped out my lashes, as in like my lash extensions, and you're never supposed to do that because when you do that you rip out your actual lashes, and that's what I was doing. So I ripped off all of my natural lashes and now I have nothing. And I want to cry about it. So if my eyes look a little off today, that's why. Also, my makeup is kind of grey. Anyway, disclaimer's over. Yeah, Shems is here with me. So if you see me talking to anyone off camera, just know it's Shem. Today I'm going to be talking about what living abroad can do to your identity. Obviously, it's coming up to 6 years of me being in the UK for education. Most of you would already know that. And it can really mess you up here. I'm not gonna lie, but there are some positives as well. But before I get into the video, whilst we're on the topic of living abroad, I want to talk to you guys about this company I'm teaming up with that you guys have probably already heard me talk about, and that is TAPTAP. Send. So TAPTAP Send is an app where it allows you to send money from abroad back to your home country. So for me it would be Kenya, at the lowest cost possible. Guys, you've already heard me talk about how useful this is. If you're someone that lives abroad like me and likes to send money back home to treat your loved ones or anyone, use TAPTAP Send because their charges are so low compared to other apps that I've used personally. When you are checking out, please be sure to use code CAMI at checkout, and yeah, just support your girl. So thank you TAPTAP Send, and be sure to download it from the App Store or Google Play Store. Okay, let's get into the video. So I've touched on my experiences living abroad many a time on this channel. I even took a break about talking about the UK because I just felt like I was talking about it way too much, but I've never really gone in depth into what it can do to someone's identity. I've definitely mentioned it here and there, but I haven't talked about what it's done to my identity, how it's affected me, how I view myself, how I behave, especially if you move abroad at like such a young formative age like I did. I wasn't necessarily like super young, but it was a very formative state and impressionable. When you're very impressionable and young adolescent stage where you really start to like develop your character, that was a stage of life. I came here, I was 15 and I'm 21 now. So yeah, that also added some spice to the mix. Okay, can I just say one thing, guys? Sorry, my foundation looks like it doesn't match my body, but I think it's because of the ring light.
I get what you mean.
It's so jarring.
Like with the concealers.
Yeah, because it's hitting my face, so it makes me seem lighter. Guys, my foundation does match. Disclaimer. So without further ado, I feel like I've taken way too much time to intro this video. Here are some of the repercussions of what living abroad can do to your identity, but they're not all negative. So the first thing is probably the biggest thing for me. You don't quite fit in anywhere. So you're not Kenyan enough for the Kenyans, in my case, so you're not British enough for the British people, and it's just like you're in this kind of in-between where I am viewed as always like an outsider to everyone, even when I'm home, which is really sad because I feel like there's this judgment that comes with moving abroad, like, oh, you think you're better than us, this and that, and I'm like, trust me, I don't think I'm better than anyone. That's like the furthest thing from the truth. I don't know why it just so happens that when you go home, just like, oh, so now you think you're all this and all that because what you study in the UK, you're not better than us. And I was like, I literally just said hi. So yeah, there's that. Sorry if there's a lighting change, guys. We've been trying to play with the lighting because it's just not doing it for me because of my face. Anyway, and then obviously you're not British enough because you're not from here, you've just moved here, and it's like, oh my god. So yeah, it becomes like kind of an insecurity, but you learn to deal with it. Number 2, you become unsure on where it is you want to settle down. Okay, so this is a massive thing for me right now, especially because I'm about to finish uni. I have no, like, okay, I now have a clear idea. I'm not sure if I'm gonna say it, but I have a clear idea of where I want to settle down, but I really do not know if I just want to continue straight into the job market here in the UK or go back and be with all my friends and everything in Kenya. But I have so many friends here, and it's like, I'm gonna touch on that later on, but it's a lot. You just have to really sit down and consider where do you want to spend the rest of your life, because both places you become accustomed to. it's wild, and you just kind of have to go with where you feel most comfortable, I think. Number 3, and this is a big one. Oh my god, your friends are spread out all over the world. Yeah, looking at you, Sham. And it's kind of like they see 2 different versions of you. It's not that you're 2 different people, they just see you in 2 different contexts, and therefore like they see 2 different versions of you. So it's like you have a dual identity, but not really at the same time. You're still 100% yourself, just like 2 different versions. I keep saying that, but it's wild. It's wild, and it's really hard to have your friends dotted all over the world. It's actually sad. Long distance friendships are not it at all. Like and it goes on to my 4th point, that you are constantly missing people. Constantly, like you're in a constant state of FOMO. Do you know how jarring that is, to always be in a constant state of FOMO? When I'm in Kenya, I'm looking at my UK friends like, oh damn, I really miss them, wish I was doing that. When I'm in the UK, I'm looking at my Kenyan friends like, oh damn, wish I was doing that. It's like, and maybe this is just a personal issue with me, but can I just relax and just be settled in where I am? But it's so bittersweet. It's so bittersweet. You're constantly missing people, whether it's your friends or even your family. But then when I go home, I'm like, okay, I'm done with my house. I need the freedoms of uni. Hey, yeah, uni really gives you a taste of freedom. And when you go back home to your parents' household and they start telling you, oh, you can't go out, you can't do X, I'm like, even Trump's off camera is like, what do you mean I can't do? Do you know I've been gallivanting around the United Kingdom? Now you're telling me to not do XYZ and I can take a train at 3 AM to Manchester if I so pleased. Anyway, that's another story for another day. But jokes aside, that constant feeling of missing people can really make you feel like isolated. For me personally, at least, it's like it just makes you feel apart from everyone else. Because for example, when I go back to Kenya, you hear your friends talk about new people and you're like, wait, catch me up. But you adjust and you get used to it. But that's just another way it can affect your identity. You're like, oh my god, you just see people moving on with their lives from you, and it's wild. Number 5, this is a big one for me. Where home feels like constantly changes. This ties into everything I've been saying, but the feeling of, oh, this is home, for me changes back and forth and back and forth. If you were to ask me when I first moved to the UK, Kami, where does home feel like for you? I'd be like, oh yeah, Nairobi, 1000%, that's my home. But then as the years went on, I would tell you the UK feels like home because I spend 90% of my time here. I'm used to it, I'm used to the people, I'm used to the lifestyle. It just began to feel like home for me, and now I'm kind of like reverting back to, no, Kenya Kenya is home for me for real. I know that's where I can thrive. Yeah, it's really odd. Your home becomes 2 different places or 3 different places depending on how many places you've moved to. For me, it just so happens to be, you know, I've only moved to 1 other country in my life, so it's really crazy that the sense of home, like, oh yeah, this is home, changes. I think it's just because I've been here for a while, and it's only for education, but I spent majority of my time, and I spend present tense majority of my time in the UK. I remember telling my mom, you know, the UK has started to feel like home for me, and I think I was like in year 13 or year 12, and I think she got a little sad. She was like, oh, I mean, it makes sense, but it's just the reality of how it can be. Kenya actually felt like more of a holiday spot, and that's why we're nicknamed summer bunnies, because we only come back for the summer. No. But yeah, it felt more like a holiday spot for me than home, just to give more context to what I'm saying. But now that I've like settled with my identity and who I actually am, or I'm rather starting to settle with my identity and who I am, Kenya definitely has started to feel more like home. I just wish I wasn't judged by my own Kenyans when I go back home. It's not everyone, it's just a few people, but it sucks because it's like, yo, you guys are my brethren, you know what I mean? So yeah. Number 6, and this is the last of the negatives, thank God. If you're black and you go to a majority white country, or you just happen to be the minority in the country you're moving to, buckle up, kid. Buckle the f off because you are in for a ride, homie. An identity crisis ride. Let me tell you guys, I've said this before, I have never thought about race before in my life in terms of like a me context. Why? Because I grew up all around people that look like me. I come to this country, comments start being made, I start being shouted at on the street the N-word, and I'm like, okay, so I am treated differently based on the color of my skin. Listen, this will not be everyone's experience, and I don't want to scare anyone into moving to a different country. It can be the reality, but this is not what everyone will go through, especially going to a boarding school and where everyone is over analyzing themselves and you're just at that formative stage of life, adolescence. I started looking at myself like, yo, is there something wrong with me? Is there actually something wrong with me? It's mad, and I would never want anyone to go through that. It's absolute BS. Oh, and I'm so happy I'm free from the shackles. I'm just happy I'm free from the shackles of insecurity, because yo can really mess with your identity, as in racial identity. Guys, it's happened to so many people. Even me and Shem have just finished chatting off camera. It's happened to me, to her, to another friend, to actually a majority of my black friends I've made here in the UK. It sucks, and they've actually lived here their entire lives versus me. I'm just here whining and complaining and being here for 6 years. Okay, yay, on to the positive things. Woo, that really sucked before all of those things. Let's flip it around, guys, and let's take a sip so we just get the bad vibes off. Yeah, first of the positive things is you become a citizen of the world, and this is something my mom always calls me. She's like, hey Mukami, you know, you're a citizen of the world, and I never really knew what that meant up until uni. You don't have to pick an identity because you're the product of both places, and that's pretty cool. And I know it's contradicting my very first point, but that's the flip side to it. It has that thing where, oh, I don't fit in anywhere, but you also fit in everywhere, and it's sick. It's actually sick. You know how to navigate both spaces, and it gives you an edge, and I love that. I actually absolutely love that. It gives you an edge everywhere. You know that thing for, oh, you're not like other girls. I'm not like other girls. I'm a citizen of the world. Okay, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, guys. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty cool. Second positive thing, it's not really an identity thing, but I thought I might as well just chuck it in there. You make a lot of connections, like a lot of connections, which is sick, and connections are everything. Although, actually, flip side, back to negative, yikes. You may not have enough connections in both spaces. Ooh, this is something I've... Isn't it wild? This is something I've deeped. You might not have enough connections in either places because you keep bouncing back and forth, and that's what I've struggled with. So yeah, you make a lot of connections in different places, but if you want to like grow and cultivate hella connections and networks in one place, it can be a disadvantage to you because you keep dotting back and forth. Yikes. How did I turn a positive into a negative? Number 3 of the positive things is that you have a more well-rounded view of the world. This is just my opinion. I believe that I now have a more well-rounded view of the world, and it's really cool. I don't just see the world in one context. I see it in various contexts. I can see it in an African context, a Kenyan context, Western context, British context. It's pretty cool, and because of that, it kind of changes the way you think and hence impacts your identity, if that makes sense. Maybe that's a bit of a reach, but yeah. Fourth and final point of the positive things, and also of the entire video, is that you might even develop a stronger connection to your home country. I know this is a massive 100% fact for me. You become way more patriotic when you're out of Kenya than when you're in Kenya, or when you're out of your home country than when you are in your home country, because you just appreciate things way more. That's why you'll see everyone in the diaspora with this. You see people in the diaspora on Twitter like celebrating Jamhuri Day even louder than us, Independence Day even louder than the people that are back home. It's that whole concept of you don't know what you have till it's gone. You miss things now that you no longer have a lot of access to it. Now that I've said all the negatives and positives, I have to ask myself the question, am I better off for it? Am I better off having moved here? Should I have just stayed home and not dealt with all of this hassle and identity crisis and so on and so forth? But I think, yeah, I am better off for it. I would not trade this experience for the world, because I don't know, it's me now. it's contributed to who I am as a person. It's made me more confident, more out there, and yeah, this is just my personal experiences. Yeah, well, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this chatty video. Let me know what you think about the topic. Can you relate? Or Kenyans back home, what do you think about it, about anything I've said? Comment down below. I love chatting to you guys in the comments. I always say this. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I never say that, but yeah, hit that notification bell to let you know when I upload. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.